Hello, I am going to discuss the effects of exercise on mental health in college students and the study I did pertaining to this topic. Maintaining a sufficient mental health is very important in all ages, especially college students, as they adjust to many different life changes and transition to adulthood. Whether it is personal, educational, or social factors, stress is unavoidable. If not addressed properly, it can lead to anxiety, depression, and other psychological concerns. It is also very important to maintain sufficient levels of physical activity in college students as they learn to live independently, for it plays a major role in improving an individual's overall quality of life. It is already proven that physical activity is a factor in protecting against stress-related mental disorders, and it is further believed that happiness is a product of human activity, which would therefore create a more positive effect on life satisfaction. Some research also proves that vigorous physical activity has even greater mental health benefits than moderate physical activity. I referred to three main articles when conducting my research study. The first by Guvin was the relationship between health college students' physical activity status and life satisfaction. The purpose was to determine if there was in fact a relationship between physical activity status and satisfaction with life. While using the International Physical Activity Questionnaire and Life Satisfaction Scale, results did prove that increased levels of physical activity also increased life satisfaction. The second study by Gerber was entitled Increased Objectivity Assessed Vigorous Intensity Exercise is Associated with Reduced Stress, Increased Mental Health, and Good Objective and Subjective Sleep in Young Adults. This study was performed to determine if vigorous physical activity is related to increased mental health benefits beyond moderate physical activity. Students also completed surveys and participated in sleep EEG assessment. It was concluded that VPA was associated with less stress, pain, subjective sleep complaints, and depressive symptoms, which therefore proved to have benefits beyond MPA. The third study by Bocaboya was exploring the relationship of physical activity, emotional intelligence, and mental health among college students. Participants completed 3 different tests. Their scores showed that regulating emotions, global emotional intelligence, and mental health of the high physical activity group was significantly higher than the low physical activity group. It proved that people who are emotionally healthy are in better control of their behaviors, and good emotional health is important for an individual's motivation to participate in exercise. There were, however, a few limitations to these studies. Research did not focus on specific classes of college students. Numbers of participants were often too random throughout different research. For example, Bocaboya used over 300 females in this study and only 100 males, which could have had an effect on the results. Most research were also just surveys and did not have the participants engage in specific various physical activities, while the exercise that was evaluated was only over a short period of time. The purpose of my study was to determine whether or not exercise has a greater effect on mental health in college students of different classes, specifically freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. There was a total of 800 college students from the same university that participated in the study. 400 served as an experimental group in which they participated in an exercise plan over a duration of 3 months and answered surveys before and after that period of time. Another 400 served as a control group and only answered the surveys twice without participating in the specific workout plan. Participants were randomly selected, in which there were 100 students from each class in both the experimental and control groups. The experimental group was given a weekly exercise plan to follow, which ranged from vigorous to moderate physical activities. The research was quantitative, and that was all calculated through numbers and statistics. 2 different enjoyment scales and 1 survey was required to be completed by the participants before and after the 3 months. The International Physical Activity Questionnaire was used to determine physical activity levels in each individual. The Satisfaction with Life scale measured current subjective well-being on a 5-item scale, which was rated on a 7-point scale, 1 being strongly disagree to 7 being strongly agree. The Perceived Stress scale was a self-report measure of total stress on a 10-item scale, which was rated on a 4-point scale, 0 being never to 4 being very often. Results showed that the entire experimental group showed an increase in mental health, including stress tolerance and satisfaction with life, after 3 months of consistent exercise, while the control group stayed about the same. Freshmen in the experimental group showed the most overall increase by 60%, while the sophomores showed 40%, juniors 45%, and seniors 50%. The graph shows more clearly how much the mental health of the experimental group increased. As a result, the majority of highest survey scores after exercise was freshmen, followed by seniors, juniors, then sophomores. According to the surveys, freshmen experienced the most stress due to adjusting to college life and being independent, while it is also harder to organize and stay consistent with a steady workout schedule. The surveys also showed that seniors were second in line due mostly to stresses of future life after college, grad school, and finances. So although freshmen and seniors displayed having the most stress and showed the most positive reaction to physical activity, all classes scored somewhat higher on the surveys after exercising, while the control group stayed consistent with other scores. It is important that all college students stay consistent with an exercise routine ranging from vigorous to moderate physical activities to reduce stress and increase mental health.